Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Devi and you are watching Just Devi Marie. So today I have another interesting video for you guys. This is another sit down talking video. I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to tell if you are a toxic friend or you have a toxic friend. So yeah, I'm going to be sharing also a little bit of my experience with friends. So if you want to see that, stay tuned. Before I get into the meat of the matter, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying the videos. Also, share this video with your friends and family. If you know somebody who would love the channel, just share it with them. Remember to comment what else you'd like to see on the channel. And also, remember to give me a like. I want you to also check out my previous videos. I will have some probably linked in the cards or at the end of the video or in the description. So please remember to check out that. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, I just want to give you guys a disclaimer. I am well aware that we are not perfect people, right? We all have sin. We all are imperfect. We all have flaws. So I am not creating this video to make anybody feel bad, but instead to kind of introspect, to look at yourself and look at things that you need to change. Or if you are in a situation where somebody is doing these things to you that you know, say it's time for you to walk away because it is really a toxic situation for you, right? I know that we're not perfect people. Also, I just want to say too that some of the points that would have been here are things that are traits of mine too. So it's not like I'm saying that I am perfect and I'm a perfect friend. I'm in no way saying that. So some of these that I will talk about also apply to me. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, also I'm going to be having a little fan because the time hot. So yeah, don't mind the little fan. Anyway, so the first thing or the first trait that I would say is that these friends invalidate your feelings. So they make you feel like your feelings do not matter. I don't know if you guys have ever had a friend where you'll be going through something and you talk to them and it's almost like they dismiss it or they brush it off or they make it seem as if, well, I don't experience that, or you know, there are children in Africa who are starving, so therefore you shouldn't feel the way that you feel. Now that to me is totally wrong, and if I have come across friends like that before who make you feel like, well, you have no reason to be feeling the way that you feel, and to me that just makes it look like they don't care about you. And they don't want the best for you. They don't want you to show you their true selves. And a lot of times, personally, I do not share a lot of stuff about myself for that reason. I've had a lot of people dismiss the way that I feel and tell me, oh, stop it, walk it off or whatever. And that is not what I would have needed in that kind of moment. So instead of invalidating people's feelings, I would suggest that you listen. You try your best to understand. You may not agree with it, or you may have your own feelings of, well, you know, this person is just being ungrateful or whatever, but sometimes in that moment when you're going through your emotions, you just need somebody to listen and to hear it out. Maybe when I'm in a better mood, or you know, I've thought through how I'm feeling, especially if it's something that would have probably just happened, you know, maybe then we can have a conversation about it. But in that moment, I don't need nobody to be invalidating my feelings. I need you to be there, listen, and just support me where needed. So the second thing, the second trait that I would say kind of suggests that someone is toxic for you is they want what you have. They want, you see, everything when you have, they want it. You can be talking to this friend and all of a sudden they want to be friends with that friend. You and your family can be going somewhere and all of a sudden they want to up in your family, rate, blah blah. And to me, it's just like they can never be happy for you. They cannot be happy for you unless they are doing better than you or doing what you are doing. And to me, like, me just don't like that. I just feel like that is one of the most unnecessary things I've ever seen. I've had friends who have had a discussion about something, right? And we would talk about the thing and they'd be like, yo, I'd never do that, like that's so ridiculous or whatever. Or if you're sharing something with them that you say, you know, I have a business venture or something that I'd want to do, and it's almost just like, oh please, that would never work. And then when you start doing it, all of a sudden you see them starting to do the same things that you're doing. Or for instance, it just always seems like a competition, like you and them in a competition when there's no competition, like everybody can thrive. But to me, it's just the way that you do it. You would tell me that you're not interested in doing this particular thing and whatever, or you beat me down for the fact that that is my idea or something that I want to do, and then you turn around and do the same thing. Me, not like that. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced anything like that, if you have ever had a friend that it just always seems like a competition, like they always feel like they have to be one step ahead of you, or if they see you get something, they feel like they have to get something that is of greater value. And I'm just like, girl, back, child, please stop it, with no competition. And then you know what always ends up happening is that because their heart is not in it, meaning because they would be doing something just because you are doing it, they end up falling off, or they end up not being consistent with it. But what I would say for friends like that is, boy, certain things you just kind of have to keep to yourself in terms of what you want to do. Just kind of just make it happen and make it unravel without them knowing beforehand, because those people are toxic. This is the third trait. They only do things for you because they want you to go above and beyond for them. Now listen to me good. Nothing is wrong with, in a friendship, being able to lean on someone and consider someone a support system. You know what I mean? Nothing is wrong with sacrificing for your friends, but you have to think about what kind of heart you're doing it with. To me, when I think about being kind and giving, I am giving without expecting anything in return. I am not saying that as a friend, you are not supposed to show up for your friend, whether or not they do good things for you or not. You understand what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you cannot expect me to do something for you just because you have done it for me and I personally am unable to do it. Let's talk about money, for instance. Somebody would lend you some money, right? They're in a position to be able to lend you money. They find themselves in the same position, but you are not in a place to lend them money. Is it wrong for you to be like, okay, no, I don't have the money to lend you? Is it wrong if you're just not able to do that, or if you're not just, you're personally or physically or whatever it is, not able to support them at that time? Should they blame you? Like, if I cannot do it for you, you know what I mean? Why are you gonna get mad at me? And something else that I don't like in that same regard is that friends who are like that, who just do things for you just because they want in the end that you will do something for them, or you do something of more value or whatever for them. Friends who are like that tend to, whenever you're having a disagreement, I find them take it like they list out everything them ever give you in a life, them just reel it out, and then they're like, but I did this for you, and last week when such and such and such, and they bring back everything that they've ever done for you and fling it in your face. Look here, I don't like them things there. And that's part of the reason why for me too, I would say that I'm a very independent person. Like, I would rather do things for myself than ask other persons to do that. And I know that is a big pride thing, and that is something that I am working on, because I am not a perfect person. But me not like that. Me not like, it just makes me feel like what you're doing for me or what you're giving to me was not genuine in the first place. You didn't do it because you really cared about me or you really wanted better for me. You just did it so that if you were in another situation or in the same situation and the shoe was on the other foot, that I must jump over mountains and do whatever for you. That is not always the case, and that cannot always be the case if we are realistic. Everybody will not always be in a position to jump through hoops, to cross the ocean for everybody. And that is something as a friend you have to understand, and that is something also you as the giving friend in the first place need to understand too. The fourth thing I would say is, friends place at people, at me, place at. The fourth thing I would say is, a toxic friend blames you for their bad choices. Now, I've been in situations where people would have been going through things. Maybe they don't really include you in what they're going through, but then it's like maybe when it fall apart or whatever, they start to blame you. So they made a choice to do something, even if they knew it was bad, or even if they knew that it may not end well, and they were just like, well, I'm gonna do it anyway. And then when it falls apart, they come to you and they're like, well, you weren't there for me. Well, you didn't tell me not to do this. You didn't give me no advice. I didn't have you to talk to. And to me, that is just kind of unfair. That's a little bit unfair. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be with your friends through the good and the bad. But as a friend, you have to take responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your actions, and you cannot blame the choices and the decisions that you made on your friend. You know what I mean? That's unfair. And me, not like that. Another thing is, and this is one that I find that a lot of people do, and I don't know if it's kind of like unconsciously they do it, but you ever have a friend yet and anytime you talk to the person, it's like they're only talking about themselves. Them only talk about themselves. You can be on the call half an hour and for 29 minutes, them only talking about themselves. Now that person to me is a toxic person, because one, it shows that they don't really care what's happening to you. And I am not saying that somebody can't be going through something and they really need you more than you need them. But all the time, so every time me and you talk, you just tell them about yourself and what Tom, Dick and Harry do? Nah. They don't even ask you how are you feeling, how are you doing today, or they don't even say, oh, you remember that situation, whatever happened to that. They are not very, the conversation basically then is one-sided, and that can not only be in terms of conversation, but it can just be in terms of hanging out or spending time or stuff like that. You know what I mean? It just seems very one-sided, because it's almost like the person just wants to talk to you so that they can talk about themselves, or so they can just do things that they like without considering what you like. You know what I mean? So my sixth point or sixth trait is those friends that pressure you to divulge information or to talk about things that you don't want to talk about. Now I understand that sometimes we have some friends that are near and dear to our heart, and they're like sisters, and they're like family, or they're like brothers, and they're just almost like blood. You know what I mean? But you have to remember that you are an individual, and because you are an individual, you have boundaries, right? If you would have discussed certain boundaries with your friends, and if it's a close friend like that, to me, they should be able to know when I don't want to talk about something, or maybe I'm not in the position to talk about things. You know what I mean? I feel like you should be able to pick that up, especially if it's a friendship that has been around for a long time, or like you guys are extremely close and you have gone through different things together. I feel like that's something that a friend needs to respect. There's not every single thing that happens in your friend's life you should know. Don't feel like your friend must tell you every single thing, every single solitary thing they must tell you, because then what kind of sense of individuality would you have? You know what I mean? There are just some things that people prefer to keep to themselves, or maybe they just don't want to talk about it in that time. Maybe they're not in the mind frame, or they have the emotional capacity at the time to really talk to you about those things. And to me, I don't like people that pressure me in a friendship. I don't like it. And I'm not saying that, you know, your friend can be going through something and you are encouraging them to talk about it because you want to help them. But my thing is that some are just too fast. Let people be, let people deal with things how they want to deal with them. As a friend, as a good friend, you should understand that there's not every day that the person is going to want to be laughy and talky. There are going to be days when people will be sad, people will have things that they're trying to process internally, and you are actually adding fuel to the fire by forcing up yourself and pressuring them to talk to you about things or emotions that they're not ready to relive. So sometimes we need to just deal with that, let people deal how they want to deal when they are ready, and if it's a good friend, when the person is ready to talk to you about it, they will. And sometimes the truth is, they probably will never be ready to talk about it. Maybe you can ask a question like, you know, I know you weren't doing so well the other day. Is there anything that I can do to help or anything? Come at it from that kind of perspective, not as a perspective where you need to tell me no, and you know, I'm gonna have you up because you're not talk to me, you're not telling me this. No, because to me that is just pressuring them even more, and you don't even know what they're actually having to deal with. The next thing kind of had to do a little bit with when I was talking about friends who blame you for their bad choices. So this point is friends who don't take your advice, but then when things fall apart, expect you to be there running to them with open arms and being like, yes, come. And this is not for friends who give advice one time and the person will take it. This is like a recurring issue. So if you talk to your friends, say for instance, about a certain boyfriend or lover or partner that they have, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever friendship whatever kind of ship, cousin, auntie, father, mother, whatever, right? And you realize that, you know, the person is not helping the situation or the relationship by staying in the relationship, or by doing certain things. They're not helping themselves, they're making it worse. A lot of times I feel like somebody on the outside sometimes can speak to our situations just because they're not entangled in it. They don't have the emotions going, they're looking at it from outside, so they can more have a better view, if I can tell it, a better view of the situation than you do, because maybe you are emotional, you know, the person is probably close to you, and you know, there are just issues internally that are preventing you from seeing that maybe something right here just not right. So you give them the advice and you tell them, bro, sis, don't do this, don't go down that path, don't do that. And constantly, this is something that you're constantly telling them, right? And they still don't get it. And then when it completely mash up, broke down, pop down, tire them fly off, also catch fire, is when they want to run, come back to you and be like, whatever. And this is literally a cycle. So you tell them, bro, don't do that. Don't do that, bro. Bad idea, bro. Don't do that, bro. And they come back to you, something happened, they come back to you and they're like, yo, you know, say, I shouldn't have do this, and reante, you're alright, cool, you know, I'm there for you, you know, if you want that, whatever. They run, go back in at the same burn house, burn up some more, and come back and ball into you, and this is actually, it's a cycle. And that, to me, can be very hurtful for that friend who is trying to support you. They want the best for you and they want to support you. I mean, at the end of the day, you as a person make your own decisions and make your own choices. But to me, when we are doing that, we have to be careful, be very careful, not to make the person we are confiding in or our friend feel like we do not care about the advice that they're giving. Especially if your friend is giving you advice that will better you, will help you out of a certain situation, will make you better off. It is hurtful. Yeah, I can say that. It is hurtful when you give people advice knowing good and well that it's very good advice, it's advice that will help them out of the situation, and they keep going back into the situation, and then when it doesn't work out, they're coming back to you to cry. And I'm not saying that you must not be there for your friends through good times and through bad times. Yes, but just be considerate that you are not hurting the other person by making it look like their advice is not for you or their advice is malicious towards you. So just be considerate is what I would say of the other person's feeling, especially when you're going through something and that person is the person who gives you advice. Just be careful and be considerate also of that person's feeling. The next thing is, you will have friends that see you going down a certain path, making bad decisions, and they encourage it. They encourage it, and that to me is not a true friend, because if at the end of the day you know, say, going down that road is going to make me get robbed, or make me lose my life, or make me break my foot, you as a friend need to say something. You as a friend need to say something. If you see me going down a bad path, you need to say something. Let it never be said that the conversation was not had. As I said, people can make their choices and people are free to make the decisions and choices that they want to, because you are an individual, right? So at the end of the day, even if they ask you your advice, they make their choice. But do not let it be said that you didn't warn or you didn't say certain things. And to me, as a friend, if you are giving somebody advice about something that they shouldn't be doing or whatever, be careful as to how you say it too. You know, say it and make sure that it's coming from a genuine place, not just a place of like jealousy or bad-mindedness or like competition or whatever. So nobody tell somebody that their business pop down and it look bad and it stay bad and they shouldn't go down that road just because of your own feelings or your own jealousy or whatever. Make it constructive criticism. If you're going to tell somebody that, yo, you know, give them some advice, make it constructive. Don't say it in a way that will hurt them. And I do know that sometimes telling the truth or being truthful to a friend does hurt, but do not say it with the intention to hurt. Because sometimes no matter what, no matter how nice you say something, once it is about a particular thing, it can only sometimes be received in a hard kind of way. A hard way to process, a hard pill to swallow. So those friends who see you going down certain roads and just kind of encouraging you to do those things, yeah girl, you do this, yeah boy, you do this, yeah man, go down there, and them know say that's not for you, and that will make you end up in some seriously bad situations, those are not people who are for you at all. Those are toxic friends. Number 9 is you will have people or have friends that turn you away from people who love you or people who you love. So you will have them go behind your back and talk up to people, talk up to your family and talk up to your friends or your spouse or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever, and tell them such bad things about you, tell you such negative things, tell you a lie to make you seem like this horrible person. Those people are toxic people. Toxic. I remember I had a friend and we are no longer friends anymore because of some of the reasons that I would have mentioned before. But I had a friend who, it just seemed as if every time that I would get close to a guy, not like as a romantic relationship, but it doesn't matter, like friend or whatever, it's almost like she would always be up in the situation, always be up in there, and like, you know, she have to be best friends with them and whatever. I'm gonna say she used to talk something that I always said this, like, whenever you're chatting me, whenever you're talking about me, like, I am going to find out. Not care all you think, you know, I'm not gonna find out, and you know, the person not gonna stay quiet. You have to remember saying me and this person was friends before you, and that the person that was friends. You understand? And there was one time too that she tried to turn my boyfriend at the time against me. So she started to plant all kind of things, paint me as such person, and I was like, when my boyfriend came and told me, I was like, excuse me? Are you listening to what this girl is saying? She obviously crazy. She's crazy. Making it look like she's the victim, and you know, I stole him from her because they were friends, and now that me and him are together, you know, they no longer are friends. Look here, look at me properly and look at me good. Listen here. You see, when a man decides to take a woman and enter into a courtship or dateship or whatever, and is serious about that person, it is only, I'm not going to say only right, but it only makes sense that the time that they would have been spending with some little friends, and they were not close at all, so this person was just really trying to play the victim, and this person just really was trying to make everything about themselves, the time that him spend with all the little friends is going to change, because what? He's investing time in you, especially if he's dating with the intention to marry you. Then he's not gonna be all around every little ticky friend, every little ticky girlfriend when him know, every little boyfriend when him know. Like, she was trying to make herself, you know, be like the victim of this whole situation. And as I said, when a guy is interested in you and he's pursuing you, a lot of his time is going to come to you. A lot of the things that he used to do before, he's not gonna do them no more, because he's pursuing you and he wants you to be for him on. You understand what I say? So I think that was very stupid kind of her too, because it's almost like she did feel like if never they will come back come tell me say that she da do. And I did message her and I did give it to her and I said, look here, don't you dare feel like you can be talking about me behind my back and saying all kind of things about me and I do not hear. Best believe. And I think I gave her the opportunity to be like, you know, what did you say? Do you have something that you need to say to me to my face? Like, let me know. Look here, when I finished with her, see, and I was never trace her, but I just had to let her understand that that's not cool. Like, don't be trying to do this. I am not the one. Do not do it. And I did give it to her, but I never trace her. But yeah, those kind of friends, toxic. The last trait that I want to talk about is you have friends that don't want you to be friends with anyone else. So you'll have those friends who feel like you are only obligated to them, nobody else matters, you know. And I find that a lot of times the friends who are like that are the friends who treat you badly. You see, because them know say them can get certain foolishness out of you, them put up with the arms house, them want to have you for themselves. Them don't want you have nobody else, so the other person treat you well, and then you realize say, yo, but you not treat me good. What kind of friendship this? They don't want you to realize that the grass is greener on the other side. You know what I mean? They want to keep it to themselves, which is very selfish, because they want you to be going above and beyond for them, and they do not treat you well. None at all. They want you to stick around in a friendship that's well sour and well stale. You understand? those are the kind of friends that you need to stay away from. That was my last point, guys, and I hope that some of these points, you know, would kind of speak to us as friends, you know, or if we're in situations where we have toxic friends, to kind of change it up, switch it up, you know. Don't be sitting in relationships or friendships or situationships where people are taking advantage of you and you feel terrible about yourself. Friends go through stages and changes, and not all friendships will be happy-go-lucky all the time. But once at the core you know that the person really cares about you, I feel like you are able to overcome stuff. And to me, I feel like friendships go through stages, and in my entire years of living, I have gone through different friends at different stages. So I'm not necessarily friends with all the people that I was when I was 15 or 16, you know what I mean? And that's kind of just how life is sometimes. And I feel like as you get older and you become an adult or an older adult, whatever, you realize that. So yeah, these are just a few points that I would have experienced in my life. And I don't know if you guys have any other toxic traits, or you know, any friends who have toxic traits, or if you have any toxic traits. You can leave them in the comments and we can have a discussion about them. And I want to thank you guys again for watching this video. I hope it really helped you or helped someone that you know. I'm just reminding you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below what else you'd like to see. Remember to share this video with your friends and family. Check out my other videos too. Check out the previous video. I'm gonna put the thumbnail somewhere on the screen, so check it out, and check out the other videos on the channel. Remember that I do have another channel called Yardmans. Please go and check out that channel. That channel link will forever be in my description, so you can always find it there. Just click the arrow down and you will see all the links to the different videos that I would have mentioned in this video. I also want to remind you, if you're interested in any of these nameplates or custom jewelry that I am wearing, I do have a link to them, so you can click that. And if you decide to purchase, I would really appreciate it, because if you do purchase through my link, I will get a small commission. So check out these items if you want to, and if you don't, then we're good still, like we're cool. Anyway, see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.